Today, I'll show you how to adjust the zoom on your timeline so you can navigate and edit much more precisely. Being able to quickly zoom in and out of your timeline is one of those small skills that makes a huge difference when you're editing, whether you're trimming tiny audio gaps or getting a wide overview of your whole project. Let's start with the most visual and straightforward method, the zoom slider at the bottom of the timeline panel. Look toward the lower area of your timeline, and you should see a bar with handles on either side. This is your zoom slider. Think of it like a magnifying glass you can control. If you drag the handles closer together, you'll zoom in, which makes each second or frame take up more space on the screen. And that's perfect when you need to line up cuts, sync audio, or make very tight adjustments. If you drag the handles farther apart, you'll zoom out, giving you a wider view of your entire sequence. This is especially helpful when you want to see how your clips are arranged across a longer duration, or if you're trying to jump quickly from one section of the project to another. As you move the handles, watch how the timeline updates in real time. You'll see the clips stretch out or compress depending on the direction you move. If you ever feel lost, just recenter your view by clicking somewhere in the timeline and adjusting the slider again until you're comfortable with the level of detail you see. Take a moment to experiment with this slider so you get a feel for how sensitive it is and how far you can zoom in and out. Now, if you prefer to keep your hands on your mouse and keyboard rather than dragging controls, there's a faster shortcut you can use. Hold down the Alt key on Windows or the Option key on a Mac, then scroll your mouse wheel while hovering over the timeline. Scrolling up will zoom in closer and scrolling down will zoom out. This method is great when you're moving quickly through an edit because you don't have to move your cursor away from where you're working. Just make sure your mouse is positioned over the timeline panel itself, otherwise the scroll wheel might control something else in the interface. Using this shortcut, you can smoothly zoom in on a specific cut, make your adjustment, then zoom back out to see the bigger picture, all in a couple of quick motions. If the zoom feels too jumpy at first, try making smaller scroll movements until you get used to how your software responds. Over time, this will become second nature and can speed up your workflow significantly. Finally, for more precise control, you can use the zoom in and zoom out options from the time ruler. Move your cursor up to the time ruler, which is the horizontal bar showing your time code or frame markings at the top of the timeline. Right-click directly on that ruler. In the menu that appears, choose Zoom In to step in closer or Zoom Out to pull back. This method is especially useful when you want consistent, repeatable zoom increments rather than relying on how far you drag or scroll. The right-click approach is also a good backup if you're not using a mouse with a scroll wheel or if your trackpad gestures are limited. It gives you clear, deliberate control over how much you zoom each time, and it can help you fine-tune your view when you're trying to match a specific level of detail. So, to recap, you have 3 simple ways to control your timeline zoom. The zoom slider at the bottom of the panel for a visual hands-on approach, the Alt or Option plus mouse wheel shortcut for quick fluid changes, and the right-click time ruler options for precise controlled steps. Try each method and